Hill Lawn Tennis Club.
Thanks, Ian.
Now, Peter, explain to us the tennis scene in Swan Hill, how it works and how popular it is.
Tennis is extremely popular in Swan Hill. We've got 52 grass courts that are in immaculate condition, thanks to our wonderful greenskeeper, who's also one of our best players.
52 grass courts?
52. During Country Week, which is a very, very big event, we expand that and add another 50 or 60 as well. So it's a home of Country Week tennis, Swan Hill. We are very proud of the facilities we have, and it's very well supported by our community. Wednesday night competition, very competitive and at the same time social. And the Saturday competition is our most serious one, but tennis sometimes is in a decline, in the competition on Saturdays, so we've got to find flexible ways to get people more involved in tennis. And this competition for the free tennis days is a great way for us to be able to promote tennis at a junior level as well, and the events that we ran, we're hoping has increased our membership.
So, Peter, when you talk about the events, I know you were very active on the social campaigns. You had the try and hit the backhand like Novak, which really not many people on the planet can actually do. How did you go with that?
No, I almost injured myself trying to do that. It was a very hard thing to try to replicate. Our coach, our local coach, Dave Jonkers from Vita Tennis, was the leader in getting our victory here, if you like. He ran an event at the show with help from Sue Dundas at Tennis Victoria, and we provided an opportunity there with an inflatable tennis court for kids to come in and promote tennis at the local show.
And the local show was also the same week as the AFL Grand Final. People are watching this all around the globe and around Australia as well, so a very prominent day in Australian sport, but you managed to get plenty there at the Swan Hill Tennis Club.
Yeah, that looked the bigger event than the AFL Grand Final. Not really, but we did manage to get a lot of people to the show and to hear about tennis, and it's been a wonderful thing to be involved in, just promoting tennis in our area. So.
Now, I know we've got a couple of the mayors here. We've got the mayor of Warrnambool here as well, and the mayor of Swan Hill, and there's an open invitation for Novak to actually come and wear the mayoral robes. Is that right at Swan Hill?
Yes, we've been able to steal the mayoral robes off our mayor. He's kindly offered those up for Novak to wear during the duration of the Australian Open. And
do you think it might inhibit his service action? Or
it's a possibility. What we're asking Novak, if he does take up the offer to wear the robes, is that although we trust every decision he makes on the court, we'd like to run any decisions from our local council back via our real mayor,
right.
If that's possible. But yeah, we welcome him to wear those robes and to be our mayor for the duration of the tournament, and we hope that he's there right to the end.
And fairly, I would imagine that's an open invitation as well for Serena to get to Warrnambool at any stage?
Absolutely. I think Kylie, our mayor's got the official chain, her ball and chain, ready for Serena.
So a bit more bling for Serena to be wearing. She's got plenty of trophies in the cabinet as well, and maybe the mayoral chain. Now, while we've got you here, you've got some supporters. We might be able to get a shot of them. They cheered early. They were very vocal, but you've bust down a whole lot of the young kids as well.
We've got some kids that are here on a Vita tennis camp at the moment from Swan Hill, and they're over there with the blue shirts on with the Go Djokovic, supported by some local businesses. And we've got a busload of kids that are about to arrive. I don't think they've got here yet, but they're right behind our campaign to support Djokovic through this Open.
Well, who knows? I mean, in maybe 10 years' time, 12 years' time, one of those kids that's down there might be representing Swan Hill all of their own right here at the Australian Open. Wouldn't that be great?
An amazing thing. Tennis in the country is really important. It's grassroots. And there's kids there that aspire to be as good as anybody else that's playing at the moment, and it's great to be able to support them with a program that we have at Swan Hill.
The T-shirt looks an absolute ripper. The Mallee Joker, Swan Hill. As we let you go, both of you, a word of advice to any of the tennis clubs that would like to get involved next year, or maybe how we can improve it. I know Tennis Victoria is doing a lot of fan forum or a lot of club forums and trying to motivate, obviously, the thought process of getting people through the gates of tennis clubs. So for both of you, what would you say to a club that was wanting to take it on next year?
Oh, look, it's a great opportunity. Obviously, the key is to go right through the whole generation. So we need to get the really, really little kids involved, and we need to keep them going all the way through.
Yeah, I would agree with what Fairley's just said, and it's about setting up a team of people that are going to support the program in your town, and early planning would be best. Just get a group of people that are passionate about it, and it's a great thing to be involved in. It's a great way to promote your community, not just your tennis club, but your town. So Swan Hill's extremely excited to have Djokovic, and we're excited that Swan Hill's name gets out there a little bit. Come visit Swan Hill. It's a great place.
Fantastic. Please give them a big round of applause. Fairley Lamond, the manager of coaching Warrnambool Indoor Tennis, and also Peter Morrison, the president of the Swan Hill Lawn Tennis Club. Well done, and congratulations to both of you. Good luck to your teams. Indeed. So Novak Djokovic and Serena Williams, and of course the massive support is absolutely brilliant for those players. They love being involved. It's a wonderful initiative, and it works really, really well. In a few moments' time, we'll get underway with the main draw, a man synonymous with the Australian Open. Bruce McAvaney is going to be hosting that, so we're looking forward to that. We'll find out indeed who Serena and Novak are going to be playing in the first round. The anticipation continues to build. Wayne McEwen will be here with us, but good luck to all of those clubs around Australia that have got someone in the main draw. I'm Ian Cohen. Have yourself a very good morning. Stay with us because Bruce McAvaney on the other side of this. And as we go to Bruce, let's have a look at some of the highlights from the Australian Open in 2015.
This tournament has been raising the standard each year.
I went on the courts with just a ball and a racket and a hope, and that's all I had. And it's inspiring for all you guys out there.
Yeah, it's a lot of good things and many things to like about this event.
Here I really feel people get excited about tennis. You know, they love sport, they love to cheer, they get loud, and that's exciting.
I love this sport. Playing tennis gives me great pleasure, and so as long as it's like that, I have plenty of motivation to play it and to play on the biggest stage, and this is one of the biggest stages that you can have in the sport.
Back to high sets. Cauldron of emotion.
Gets you in the mood, doesn't it? Ian, thank you very much. And to Warrnambool and Swan Hill, well done. You represented your town so well today. Two incredible champions, and they're about to join us. I'll walk along here and walk up those stairs with the two trophies that every tennis player wants to get their hands on. Novak's done it 5 times and Serena 6. It's pretty hard to imagine that they could duplicate in 2016 what they achieved in 2015, but who knows when it comes to these two players. So looking forward to having a chat with them in just a moment. So 9 Australian men at the moment in the draw, including 2 seeds. First time since 2004 that we've had 2 Aussie seeds in the men. And 9 Australian women at the moment, including Sam Stosur, the 1 Australian female that's seeded. So good Australian numbers, qualifying going on as we know at the moment. But 3 former champions for women, a current one with Serena, Vika and also Maria, and 4 Australian Open champions for the men with Novak, Roger, Rafa and also Stan. So an incredible lineup as we know. Leighton Hewitt's going to be a big part of the fortnight. We know that. It's his farewell event. He'll go on to captain the Davis Cup. And how good is the fact that we're playing the United States at Kooyong with all the tradition of Australia versus the US. But more about that as the tournament goes on. And let's hope that Leighton has a fitting finale to what's been an amazing career. Now, Craig's just standing there, and Wayne will join us shortly. But would you welcome Craig Tiley, the tournament director? Craig, great, mate.
Good to see you again.
You too. We do it every year, but you look up and see what happened, and we tend to forget because there's a lot going on. But it was an incredible, successful, over 700,000 at the 2015. So what do you do in 2016 to make it a little different and even better?
Change the weather?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I think that's a good question. I mean, when we have a platform like the previous year, we just build on that. And we knew that we wanted more expansion, we wanted more opportunity for our fans. So the first thing that we did was expand the venue and the site up to the city. So all the way up to Fed Square. Burrong Ma is a free zone for our fans. So there's a tennis court out there, there'll be some players practicing. There's 7 bars, 7 restaurants, there's pubs, there's a Nickelodeon area for kids, there's other hot shots courts for the kids to play. And that's completely free for the public, and it'll be open from Monday right throughout the 2 weeks.
So you're spreading the footprint of the event, aren't you?
We are, and you know, in 2017, the construction for the bridge has already started, and it'll conclude here at the end of this year. And we'll have a bridge bringing our fans from that part of the city across the site. In fact, the site flips around, and this becomes the front of it,
it's amazing,
no longer the back of it.
We are so fortunate that it's in this location. I mean, it's just so close to the heart of the city. The fans are the priority, along with the players for you, I know. But so what about for the fans in 2016? We've seen some amazing things that you guys have done over the years. So what about this year?
Well, one thing we love about this Australian Open and our team is that we're always willing to give something a go. And we're not going to always get it right, but most of the times we do. But we're going to push it. We're going to challenge ourselves. And one of the things we are doing this year in the 3 stadium courts, people may have seen it on TV already, we have these 2-meter high digital walls around the stadium. And they are the highest quality screens that you're going to see anywhere. We're the first event globally to ever do this to that extent. And not only will it be just for a recognition of our sponsors and celebration of their partnership, but also we'll have a show between the sets and after the matches, so the fans can actually sit in their seat and instead of waiting for something to happen, can be entertained by that as well.
So that's Rod Laver, Margaret Court and Hisense?
And Hisense, yeah.
Okay, that's brilliant. Prize money's always, it's a bit of a challenge when the Australian dollar's at 69 or 70 cents in a way, I guess, but you've been able to up the ante again, haven't you? You must be happy with that.
Well, we are. We're $44 million this year. Back 3 years ago, we made a commitment to the players that we'd be at $40 million by 2016. We've surpassed that with 10% higher than what we said we were going to be. But also, if you're a player, there's 550 players throughout the course of the 2 weeks. And if you're a player and you show up, we give you a $2,500 travel voucher, so it covers your cost of getting here. We pay for your hotel accommodation, give you free stringing. And then also, one new initiative this year is we provided the players with unlimited food. That's one of the things we're giving a go because we just hope the kitchen doesn't run out of any food. So basically, if you're a player, you show up, you have no cost. Your costs are completely taken away. And then also in the first round, if you lose, you're going to win around $40,000. So with $44 million, the total prize money pool, that's why the players love coming here and why they say this is their favourite place to play.
And Craig, I mean, there's always an injury or two. We've had a couple, Safarova's not here, Gasquet's not here, Pineda retires, another one. But last year, no Silic and no Songa, and they're back this year, and Sock didn't play last year. So 3 of the men's seeds weren't here last year. So in many ways, it feels even stronger than it did last year. Is that the way you feel?
No, I think it is. We've had a bit of conversation the last week about the health of Serena and Maria, and I can report that they're both fine. They've been practicing, and I think their decisions not to play some of those leading events were more precautionary than anything, and also just make sure that they didn't really exasperate any injury that they had. So they're healthy, and it's great to see Simona Halep doing well, also in Sydney.
Yep.
But there's no question that from a strength point of view, the draw, top to bottom, the addition of more Aussies in it, I think it's going to be our best yet. And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here in the next 30 minutes with the draw, because anyone can play anyone. And for example, your number 5 seed, Rafa Nadal on the men's side, floating there. I mean, no one would want to be in that portion of it. So it's going to be an exciting time. When the Australian Open a few years ago, 10 years ago or so, when you started the first couple of days, you didn't really always get the great matches. But now we're in a position from day one, Monday when we start, you can get a first-round match on the outside courts and stadium courts that could be like a final was many years ago.
Absolutely. And look, we're always projecting, aren't we, towards talking to Josh earlier about the possibilities of, 2 players, Kyrgios and Dimitrov, who are between 25 and 32, they must play a 1-8 in the 3rd round. So for a 1-8, a Dimitrov or a Kyrgios is a hell of a task in round 32, isn't it?
Well, it's the rise and the coming through of the next generation of top players, and no, there's no question that they both they've got a lot of firepower and they've got big games, and they'll be dangerous in any situation. And same thing for the earlier rounds too. So it's just, I think what we're going to have in the next 2 weeks is going to be absolutely brilliant.
About 2 minutes before we see Novak and Serena, just a couple of quickies. It was great that Vika Azarenka got back winning a tournament in Brisbane, and she's got such a record here, hasn't she?
She does, and she's got a bounce to her step, and she's playing the best tennis that she's played, and very happy. And I think she loved. I know Swan Hill and Warrnambool here are represented, and she loved that connection that she had with the communities. And just to add to that, the Australian Open right now it's about tennis, and it's about tennis and spreading the word of tennis, getting more people to play. And as you see, these two here are great champions and also fantastic people at the same time.
They're incredible. Craig, we'll bring them up and then you come back. Oh, do you want to sit?
I'm going to stay.
Yeah, and Wayne will join us too. So they are about to come up. We talked about, they just had the most amazing years. Novak won his 11 titles, 6 of them Master Series, and got very close to the Grand Slam, as we know. And Serena, well, I'm not going to talk to her about the US Open, but she got within a hair's breadth, didn't she, of doing something that is almost impossible, and that's the 4 in the 1 year. What about Serena? 21 majors and 4 Olympic gold medals. It's crazy, really. Craig, I reckon it's fair to say she is the world's #1 female sports person, don't you?
Oh, there's no question. In fact, when it comes to earnings, the top 10 female athletes, 7 of them are tennis players. And Serena has dominated this for a while, and what she's achieved has just been remarkable. I think when she gets to a point of retiring in the future, reflect and look back, at probably one of the greatest ever.
So 11 Australian Opens between them, and none of them have lost a final here. So Serena's 6-0 when she gets to the Aussie final, and Novak's 5-0 when he gets to the Aussie final. It's an open record. Serena's won more Aussie Opens than anyone, more than Yvonne now. Margaret Court's 11 were in a different era.
Right.
And Novak's won more than Andre and Roger.
Yep, that's right.
So incredible. They must love coming here. And you must love it when they arrive.
No, we do. We're both coming and playing good tennis. Novak in Doha last week played unbelievable tennis, and
well, Rafa said it was crazy, didn't he?
Yeah, best he's ever seen. Plays like that, it's going to be impossible.
And when Nadal says that, you sort of sit up and take notice, don't you? So we'll bring them up. So they would have had the dance together at Wimbledon, these two. That's the tradition, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I guess they don't see each other a lot during the year, Craig, but certainly at these events they do.
No, they don't. And if you notice, they're not wearing gloves carrying those trophies because they don't need to, because they've won them. If you haven't won that trophy, you have to wear white gloves. You can't touch it unless you've won it.
I won't be touching one, that's for sure. these are the ones, obviously, they didn't bring their own, did they? These are the ones they're wanting to win this year.
And it's great to see their great agents, Eduardo and Jill, to show up as well.
Thank you for making them arrive here, and we're all so happy. So, ladies and gentlemen, Serena Williams and Novak Djokovic, I was going to say the 2015 Australian Open champions, but you feel like it's not enough when you just say that, but that's what they are. They're coming here to defend. So, welcome to Serena, Novak, welcome. Thank you. Great to see you both. Thanks, Serena. Welcome. Just probably the women, wherever you like, Serena. Novak, good to see you, mate.
Yeah, just pop it up there, and then come join the group. Yeah, there you go. Well done.
Novak, that one's for you. Serena, that one's for you. I'm Bruce. Come out and say hello. It must feel good for both of you. I mean, we were just talking about the success that you've had here, but it must feel a bit like home. Does it for both of you when you come here, a second home?
Yeah, for me, this is the first Grand Slam I've ever played in my career, and I have so many friends here, and every time I come here, I just kind of hang out and have so much fun, and then have such a crowd here, and a lot of fans that come out and cheer me on, so it really feels really great to be here.
And for you, Novak?
Everybody loves Melbourne. Everybody loves Australia. I think I still haven't heard any player, man or woman, to say anything negative about the experience spent in Australian Open. It's completely player friendly, and everybody loves being here. Everybody enjoys the time. So friendly, so welcoming. A lot of fans, and it keeps growing each year. There is a long tennis tradition, history in this country, and so for us, it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. I know these are not yours, but what do you do? How big are the ones that you take home?
What do you mean they're not ours?
You've got 5 of them and you've got 6, but these particular ones, are they? But, how big are the ones you take home with you, and what do you do with them?
Well, I don't know about you, but when I first won, it was actually a small one. And last year, I hadn't won in a while, and so when I won last year, it was a big one, and I was like, can I trade in my small ones for, more of these big ones? But it's pretty cool. It's a duplicate of this now.
Well, yeah, I would agree with her. I mean, the first time that Australian Open did a replica of the actual size of this original trophy was quite amazing, actually. We had to pay for an overweight, but it was pleasure. I didn't mind at all.
Well, Novak, just a minute ago, Craig said there are no expenses for players, so I think you should invoice him, all right?
Craig, where are you, Craig? Yes, okay. I'll quote you on that.
Look, you guys, both of you had the most incredible years in 2015. It was just crazy. You got to dance together at Wimbledon.
Yes, that was the highlight.
That was definitely the highlight. Yeah, me too.
So, what was Serena's form like, Novak, on the floor?
She was phenomenal. I think I don't know what I was doing. I just kind of kneeled down and just pretend I knew how to dance, but she did great. I thought, it's still called a champion's ball, so you kind of expected to relive that, that memory and that kind of tradition. It was nice, because it was lost for some time, and I hope, well, at least from what I've heard, from people from Wimbledon, that they will keep that tradition going now that hopefully we'll have another dance this year.
Yeah, it would be really great. We'll really get to boogie this year, though.
Boogie,
Serena,
exactly.
what was he like on the dance floor?
Well, it was one of a kind.
Okay.
I got dipped. So.
Okay. Look, just a couple of quick questions. Yeah. In that off period, which is not that long, I know, and I know, Serena, you had some injuries and things at the end of the year, but how long is it? How many days do you have where you don't have a racket in your hand?
Well, for you, it must have been a day.
a few days. No, it's been a good couple weeks of off season. I've skipped playing all the lead-up exhibition events and played the opening week of this season, and I think in an ideal world, an athlete would have about a month and a half of rest, and then about a month and a half or 2 of preparation, in an ideal world. But, obviously tennis has the longest season of all sports, so we don't have much time. But, 2 weeks is still amazing. It feels like 2 months. And Serena also had some time.
Yeah, I had a lot of time off, but it felt not like a lot because I don't know what I did. Next thing I know, I was back on the court. I got a little crazy, and I started hitting in late October because I was just really missing it. So, it really feels good to have a little time off. But we as tennis players, we are in a special, unique position, and to be able to travel the world and do what we do best, and to enjoy it and have everyone around the world see us perform.
You must work incredibly hard in that period when you come back. Where's the hardest bit of training you do? Is there a session you both dislike immensely or not?
Well, I think it would be uphill sprints.
Where do you do those, Novak? Where do you do that?
Well, I live back in Europe, in Monte Carlo, so there's a lot of, kind of hills and mountains. So my coach tells me, you see that top of the hill, just wave when you get there, kind of things like that. And but it's fun, I think the off season is actually a time of the year when we can apply different kind of exercises and preparation routines. And when you're on the tournament and once the season starts, it's more specific things that you work on. There's not much like heavy endurance work. So I think. But we enjoy it. This is all part of the journey.
And for you, Serena, is there something you don't like doing, training-wise?
I just answered for her. We all enjoy
that uphill sprint with no.
Okay.
Put the words in her mouth.
You wave as well. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll let you go in a sec. I've got to ask you. You seemingly are okay. Everything's all right with the knee.
Yeah, everything's actually really well. I'm feeling really good, and I'm excited about it. So I've been training every day for so long, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready now. So it feels good.
She trained this morning already. I mean, she just came back from training. Talking about professionalism, and I had an easy breakfast, and it's a smoothie. And,
have you got the family here?
Yeah.
Have you got the family here?
No.
Are they not
here.
coming?
No.
Okay.
No,
Is that normal for you? For the Grand Slam?
Right now, it's not normal. Right now, it's normal to have my wife and baby with me. But it's Australia is a wonderful country, but it's so far away from Europe that it's still difficult for a 15-year-old baby to travel there.
15 months, yeah.
15 months.
I'm good with stats.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, darling. I'm sorry.
I'll let you go, but.
Okay.
Look, it's for commentators to think about the numbers you're achieving and the history that beckons for both of you. It's incredible. You've both had the most incredible careers, and thank you so much for what you've given us in tennis.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
Two of the greatest champions of all time, if not. So, thanks, Novak. Thanks, Serena. Thank you so much. I think you can, you can keep those. That's so you're Swan Hill and Warrnambool. So they're both great sporting country towns in Victoria. So they are, and famous for lots of. Ladies and gentlemen, Serena Williams and Novak Djokovic. Thank you, guys. Novak, thank you. Good to see you. Serena, lovely. I think do you want to go there? Yeah, thanks, guys. Terrific. So Craig will come back, Craig Tiley, and we'll work on the tournament referee as well, Wayne McEwen. Wayne, good to see you, Wayne. Good to see you, mate. Bruce. Yeah, good. Oh, they're in pretty good form, Craig.
Yep.
They're all good. All good. This man obviously hasn't won one because he has got the gloves on.
That is right.
That's good.
Right.
That's good.
Would everyone in the audience be have to wear the gloves?
Yes, I can't see an Australian Open winner in front of me, but I could be wrong. Wayne, is there anything unusual about this? Nothing to worry about, is there, as normal?
No, everything's as normal. We've spoken to Bob, our weatherman. He's told us we're going to have a good start to the event, so we're looking forward to it.
It's a busy day in Sydney. I think Tomic was supposed to be playing now, but I'm not sure if it's actually happening. So
Not yet.
could that, just very quickly, could that impact at all on the scheduling if Sydney gets a bit messy?
Oh, definitely. We'll definitely look at what's happening in Sydney and see where the players are at and what's happening.
Well, Wayne, let's start with the women. As I said, there are 3 past champions, including Serena. There are 6 women in the field that have made a final here. 9 Australians at the moment, qualifying still going on. So we randomly place the unseeded players, is that correct?
That is correct, and we'll start with the women's draw. If I can ask IBM, our official information technology partner, to randomly place the unseeded players into the women's main draw.
So let's have a look. All there. Is that? We might move that the trophy just. So Dash's. Just. I wonder if people down at the back can see. I'm probably in the road as well. So Gavrilova's down the bottom there, number 61. Now, Rebecca Howard is one of our ball girls, ball boys, ball girls, ball persons, is going to help with the draw. So, Wayne, we start with 1 and 2, is that how it works?
That's correct.
It's in your hands.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have seed number 1, Serena Williams, goes on to line 1. And seed number 2, Simona Halep, onto line 128. We then do seeds 3 and 4. First one drawn onto line 33. Thank you. We have the number 4 seed, Agnieszka Radwanska, line 33. Onto line 96. It's in there. There we go. We have seed number 3, Gabine Muguruza. We now do seeds 5 through 8. Okay, first drawn goes on to line 32. We have our number 5 seed, Maria Sharapova. Line 64 is next. We have seed number 6, Petra Kvitova. Line 65. We have seed number 7, Angelique Kerber. And our last remaining seed from that group will go into line 97. Seed number 8, Venus Williams. Now through seeds 9 through 12. First drawn will go onto line 17. We have seed 12, Belinda Bencic. Next one. Line 49 is next. We have seed number 10, Carla Suarez Navarro. Line 80 is next. We have seed 11, Tamia Bashinsky. Completing that group on line 112. We have seed number 9, Karolina Pliskova. Seeds 13 through 16. First one drawn onto line 16. And we have seed 16, Caroline Wozniacki. Line 48 is next. We have seed 13, Roberta Vinci. Line 81 next, and we have seed 14, Victoria Azarenka. Completing seeds 13 through 16 on line 113, seed 15, Madison Keys. Seeds 17 through 24 are drawn together, with the first drawn onto line 9. We have seed 17, Sarah Arani. Line 24 is next. Seed 23, Svetlana Kuznetsova. Line 41, we have seed 24, Sloane Stevens. Line 56, seed 22, Andrea Petkovic. Line 73, seed 19, Elena Yankovic. Line 88, we have seed 18, Elena Svitolina. Line 105, seed 21, Ekaterina Makarova. And on line 120, completing the group, we have seed 20, Anna Ivanovic. Seeds 25 to 32 to complete our women's draw. Starting on line number 8, we have seeds 27, Anna Karolina Shmidlova. Line 25, we have seed 26, Anastasia Pavlychenkova. Line 40, seed 25, Samantha Stosa. Line 57, we have seed number 28, Kristina Mladenovic. Line 72, we have seed 29, Irina Camelia Bagur. Line 89, seed 32, Caroline Garcia. Line 104, seed 30, Sabine Lisicki. And completing our women's draw, on line 121, we have seed 31, Lesia Surenko. Thank you very much. And that's our women's draw.
Thanks, Wayne. Thanks, Wayne, and thanks to Rebecca. Paul Annacone. Paul is a renowned tennis player and coach and commentator. And Paul, great to see you here. We're going to have a chat. Welcome.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
Paul, well, Roger and Peter amongst the people you've coached over the years, so it's not a bad CV, is it?
No, I've avoided working this long. I might as well keep doing it and come up here.
And Novak's getting close to...
I'll tell you, he said, you know, those two champions you had up here on stage, 2015 were monumental years, historic years for both of them. So to see them come back and be up here today and hearing that Serena's fits, it's a great thing.
Absolutely. Paul, we're going to let's have a look. Now, firstly with Serena, this is a tough draw. The young Italian, or not that young, well, they're all young, Camilla Giorgi, she is the highest ranked player that's not seeded. So Serena effectively could not have had a harder draw than to get Giorgi in the first round.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup, and Camilla's got plenty of experience and a lot of firepower, and in many ways, I think it's a good thing for Serena. I think for the great players, when they know right off the bat they're playing a familiar face, although it's a tough match, in some ways it clicks you in for your concentration nice and early. So that'll be an exciting one to watch. And I think Camilla will be disappointed, but a great opportunity too.
So the keys for Serena are that this is a tough draw. She's got Camilla, and then in the fourth round, she's probably got her great friend, who she's played in a US Open final, Wozniacki. And then in the quarterfinal, she's probably got the woman who she has dominated, we know, Maria, but they played in the final here. So that's a tough draw on paper, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. This whole section of the draw is very interesting. There's a lot going on with the youngster Belinda Bencic in there as well. And Caroline, who's fought so hard against Serena in the past, there's no there's no big gaps in there, and you see some dangerous floaters that are capable of playing great tennis as well. Ayla Tomljanovic, we know she can play well on the day. Sarah Arani, we've seen what she's done in the big moments before. And Maria, we just hope that she's fit and ready to go. But there's not going to be a lot of folks in this section of the draw that are going to be going, great, this is just a great draw for me.
And Svetlana Kuznetsova is in terrific form as well. So let's go to the second quarter, where Sam Stosur is. And also Petra Kvitova, Dasha Gavrilova is doing good things. So interesting one for Sam here, because if she does beat the qualifier, there's a very good chance she'll play the young lady who beat her in Sydney this week.
Exactly, and that whole, just that top little section, you see the names there with Aga Radwanska recovering from having to withdraw, and then you have Jeannie Bouchard, who's still winning this week, so she must be feeling well, and then Sam's in there as well, and like you said, Sam maybe having to come back against, try to avenge a loss from last week. So again, boy, there's not a lot of gaps here up at the top. And if you continue to go down, you see Sloane there, who won the first tournament she played this year. She's playing some terrific tennis. Caught up with her yesterday. Roberta Vinci, very talented. Carla Suarez Navarro in there as well. And then down at the bottom, Petra Kvitova, who hopefully is healing. And then, of course, we want Dasha to get out there and play some good tennis. She needs to get off to a good start. There's not, the first two sections of the draw, you see the qualifiers clumped together. That's always the big question mark. Who's going to get put in there and how do the style matchups go?
And Paul, number 58, a finalist here is playing,
exactly.
Who's playing Bouchard today in Hobart in the semi-final, Sabukova. So that's tough. Let's go to the third quarter of the draw. Kerber, we know, has been in good nick. Daegu actually beat Kerber in the opening round here last year, so that could be, if they get to that point, that could be. Van der Wey's a dangerous player. Now, I spoke to Craig about Vika. She looks to have, Azarenka looks to have that spring in her step after winning in Brisbane.
Yeah, she sure does. I was up in Brisbane and got to see her play a couple of her matches, and she's regained her confidence and now getting her ranking back up high enough where she's seated 14. And that's also a little misleading. I actually think she's one of the favorites in the event. If she can stay healthy, she's familiar with playing under pressure, so she's going to be tough to stop, particularly if she gets through the first couple matches.
And number 83 is a dangerous young woman who has only played one Grand Slam event, that's the US, but Samantha Crawford did some great things in Brisbane, didn't she?
Yeah, we saw Sam play in Brisbane, and what a great power game she has. A young player with a lot of potential who seemed to gravitate towards that limelight pretty comfortably in Brisbane.
Muguruza down the bottom, so there's a chance Azarenka could play Crawford in the second round. So we go to the final quarter, which will have a number 2 seed, Simona Halep. And it's great to see her playing in Sydney. Craig mentioned it earlier. She looks healthy and she's playing well.
Yeah, I talked to Darren during Brisbane, and Darren Cahill, who's working with her, and he wasn't too nervous yet, but just wanted to make sure that she got healthy, and she did get through a couple of matches and still playing in Sydney. The interesting thing here is if she wins her first match, to potentially play Elise Cornet, who's very comfortable on the big stage. So again, the draw, to me, this is what Grand Slam tennis and the major events are all about. These big draws where you're going to have some really interesting matches early on.
And Miller Wolf, Gaidasova, of course, had a long losing run here. Got one last year, has a chance. A lot of the wildcard Aussies have got seeds, but one final one, Madison Keys, who played some great matches here last year. Where's she at?
Yeah, well, this will be interesting. I always find with the young players, it's very difficult that second year after they have a big impact to come back and to rebound and get past it. And with this draw, it's a very difficult one as you see those names in there. And if Madison is healthy enough and plays well enough, her and Anna are going to collide in the third round. So there's not a lot of gaps. I think Madison Keys is one of the names of the future, and we'll see early on how comfortable she is with this new landscape that she has as one of the top players.
Kimberly Burrell, the 17-year-old, has a tough one in Carolina Pliskova. Paul, great. We'll do the men in one sec. So maybe you just put the board up as one again, just the whole draw. Just have one last look. So Serena Williams at the top and Simona Halep, of course, the number 2. So there's the overview of the draw. So Paul's analysed some of the great matchups and go on.
Let's not forget about Serena's older sister.
Yes.
She played some great tennis last fall, again, climbing back up the ranks and winning a title in Asia and playing so well throughout the fall. And, you know, Venus is one of the more astounding athletes in the world. So let's not forget about Venus. She's here to play as well.
Good stuff, Paul. Wayne, the men.
Thank you. Good. Okay, we move on to the men's singles main draw now. Again, if IBM, our information technology partner, could randomly place the unseeded players into the men's singles main draw.
And Hamish Clayton. Hamish, welcome. Hamish is going to do the honours.
Okay, again, we start with our number 1 seed on line number 1, Novak Djokovic. Seed number 2 on line 128, Andy Murray. Seeds 3 and it's up. Okay. Moving on to seeds 3 and 4. First one onto line 33. We have our number 3 seed, Roger Federer. Line 96 is next. We have our number 4 seed, Stan Wawrinka. Seeds 5 through 8. First drawn onto line 32. We have seed number 7, Kai Nishikori. Next one, Hamish. Line 64 is next. We have seed 6, Thomas Berdych. Line 65. We have seed 5, Rafael Nadal. Line 97, completing the group, we have our number 8 seed, David Ferrer. Seeds 9 through 12. First one onto line 17. We have seed number 9, Joe Wilfred Songer. Line 49. Seed 12, Marin Cilic. Line 80. Seed 11, Kevin Anderson. And completing that group on line 112, we have seed number 10, John Isner. Seeds 13 through 16. With the first one drawn onto line 16. We have seed number 14, Gilles Simon. Line 48. Seed 15, David Goffin. Line 81, seed 13, Milos Branic. And on line 113, we have our 16th seed, Bernard Tomic. seeds 17 through 24. With the first drawn to line 9, seed 22, Ivo Karlovic. Line 24 is next. Seed 17, Benoit Paire. Line 41. Seed 19, Dominic Thiem. Line 56. We have seed 24, Roberto Bautista Agut. Line 73. We have seed 23, Gail Monfils. Line 88. Seed number 21, Victor Troitsky. Line 105, seed number 18, Feliciano Lopez. And completing seeds 17 through 24, on line 120, we have seed 20, Fabio Fognini. Seeds 25 through 32 to complete our men's singles draw. First one drawn goes to line 8. Seed 28, Andreas Seppi. Next to line 25, we have seed 26, Guillermo Garcia Lopez. Line 40, we have seed 27, Grigor Dimitrov. Line 57, seed 29, Nick Kyrgios. Line 72, we have seed number 30, Jeremy Chardy. Line 89, seed 25, Jack Sock. Line 104, we have seed 31, Steve Johnson. And completing our men's singles draw on line 121, our number 32 seed, João Souza. Thank you, Hamish.
Thanks, Wayne and Hamish. Well, the first thing that jumped at us, Paul, was 99 and 100. If we look at that, before the seeds came out, because we were all wanting to know who Leighton was going to play. Now, they haven't played one another before in any event, what we're pretty sure of. Certainly no Grand Slam. So Craig, it's a bit of a dream draw, isn't it? The Duck and Huey? And
dream or nightmare? Dream for the winner, nightmare for the loser, probably.
Look, it's a tough one for both, and we're sitting here thinking about which half's going to play where and what right now. But it's going to be, we've got so many matchups, both in the women and the men. It's going to be some interesting decisions over the next 24 hours.
Some amazing ones. Okay, we'll do the quarter by quarters. Well, Novak's got a tough opening round too. This young Korean's 50 or 51 in the world and can really play. We know that.
Yeah, Yun Chung is one of the top up-and-comer youngsters, and that's not going to be an easy match. Great baseliner with tremendous defensive skills. So Novak's going to be tested right from the start. And for the younger players, I always feel like it's disappointing when you play a great player first round, but it's also when the great players are most vulnerable. So it'll be an interesting start right there.
And Seppi in the last 3 years has beaten Cilic, Hewitt and Federer at this tournament, so he's going to have to take a very big scalp of his to get through. The other one that jumped to me a bit is a little bit of nostalgia, but two great players and one that's coming back, Songer and Baghdadis. Craig, that's Broadway, Songer versus Baghdadis. I mean, two guys that made finals here in the most dramatic fashion, didn't they?
And both exciting players to watch. And I know anytime we put them out anywhere, we get a full stadium.
So a good and Joe's playing well at the moment, Paul, in New Zealand. He's in a semi-final today. So that's the top half. Now, we know the first quarter. Now, we know that Roger Federer must play Novak in the semi if they get that far. So
the other interesting one, too, is the Philip Kohlschreiber-Nishikori
Yeah.
first round. Kohlschreiber, very familiar with the great players and missed out on the seedings with a little bit of a lull last year in his rankings, but that's going to be a tough matchup for Kay. So again, another tough first rounder. So it'll be it's going to be some great first couple of days matches.
So if the seeds go as we expected, Nishikori would play Djokovic in the quarter final. So in the second quarter where Nick Kyrgios is and also Roger Federer. So Roger or Dolgopolov's playing well, but Federer Dimitrov third round would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, lots of firepower. That was a great match just probably 10 days ago in Brisbane, three sets, and Grigor played some wonderful tennis. Grigor's still playing today. I believe he and Alexander Dolgopolov are going to be walking on the court for about the 18th time during their match in Sydney with the rain delays the last 24 hours. So there's lots of, right there in that section, Dolgopolov, Federer, second round. That's a tough one to pick. And Grigor looming, and then Dominic Thiem, another young Austrian who's played great tennis right there, and Go found a great counterpuncher playing Stakhovsky, the big serve and volleyer. Kyle Edmund, young Brit who's very aggressive. So lots of good names in there.
And Cilic could play Koric in the second round, the two Croatians. So that would be something. And we come down to we've got Burdick now. Where's am I losing? Where is Nick in that?
Yeah, Nick's right there.
Yeah, I've got him. No, but I'm not used to him being seated. He's so young. So Nick Burdick. Let's project a third round there.
Yeah, that's not going to be shy of fireworks and firepower. Interesting matchup. Nick's got a tough first round match with Carreño Busta, who's a very good absorber of pace and understands really good tennis IQ. But to get out to a Nick Burdick would be, boy, what a great matchup that would be. Just big power tennis on both ends of the court. And, Nick has played so well here last year, a little bit some points to defend. So something for him to get through, to get over that first round, but played great tennis starting the summer down here.
And Burdick's been to semi-finals the last 2 years here, so he too has that pressure. As we go to the third quarter, Nadal's here with, now how good is this, Craig? I mean, Nadal-Verdasco, that 2009 semi-final that was an epic.
Yeah, they just finished that match like a couple days ago, didn't they?
They did. It was incredible. It was one of the greatest matches ever played here.
It was.
Rafa had a weekend that you die for, so that's exciting. Gulbis he's dangerous. Monfils, Anderson had the breakthrough last year, beating Murray at the US. Raonic, we feel like he's ready to explode. Do you?
Yeah, you see that Milos started off so well this year, winning in Brisbane and coming back for some injuries last year. Had the foot injury in the spring and then the back in the fall, but so much potential. Has been as high as 4 in the world. So we know Milos is comfortable in that stratosphere, so now it's about getting to the next level for him.
And Paul, what about Sock? We've got Tomic and Kyrgios and Kokonaka. How good is Sock?
Yeah, Jack Sock's one of the most talked about names on the tour last year, making a big breakthrough and floating around that ranking of 20 for quite some time. Huge firepower, great forehand, great serve, lots of footwork. And I think these conditions down here in the courts are going to suit him really well. Again, so much, it's so interesting at the beginning of the major events to see how all the players get through the first match or two and get settled in. And for the young players, that's an issue. And Jack's going to start off with an unknown qualifier potentially.
So the quarterfinal matchup there would be a replay of the final of a couple of years ago if it happened with Stan and Rafa, who had the bad back, unfortunately, didn't he? So we go to the fourth quarter. Andy Murray here and Bernard Tomic. So let's start with the top. David Ferrer's he's playing in Auckland where he plays every year and seems to win.
Yeah, and look at all those Aussie wild cards. Craig, did you do that on purpose? Or how did that happen?
So if Leighton or the Duck, or whoever wins, there's a good chance going to be playing David Ferrer in the second round.
Yeah, and that's going to, the thing about David Ferrer is you know what you're getting every time. So would be quite exciting to see a Hewitt-Ferrer matchup. But Dux is playing some good tennis as well. We've seen the last couple of weeks playing well. So Leighton Ducks is going to be a tough match.
Janovic and Isner, those guys are quite
Those guys
tall.
don't hit the ball very hard. They're not very tall. So
Tomic Fognini, if that happened in the third round, they're two tricky players,
that's
aren't they?
theater. That's tennis theater at its best. And I think, for Bernard, it's going to be interesting because Istomin's a tough player. He's experienced, knows how to play on all the different surfaces. And if he wins, probably playing Bolelli, who is very dangerous. But Bolelli's playing Brian Baker, who's getting in, I believe, Craig, injury protection?
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
Brian is an American player that's had such bad luck over the last 4 or 5 years with injuries, but given it one more push down here. So to see Atomic, if Bernard gets out to the Fabio match, he's playing very good tennis.
And then Sam Groth with the potential of playing Andy Murray in the second round. Sam Groth, our John Newcombe medalist. And then maybe Murray, Tomic, the potential of that matchup?
Yeah, that'd be exciting. And we're going to see, if that happens, we're going to see just how fit and ready Bernard is, because Andy Murray is one of the best defenders, if not the best in the world. So you have to hit a lot of extra balls. But Bernard showed us he's getting ready. He's getting ready for that level. So it's going to be interesting first couple days. And don't forget the Murray-Zverev first-round match. That'll be fun to see. Just another great up-and-comer player. So
18 or something years of age.
Another very talented player with a lot of firepower.
Probably the best prospect Germany's had for a long time.
Very, very good.
Yeah, he played Kyrgios at the Hopman Cup, didn't he?
Yeah.
And just one last big look. Paul, just a men and women's favourite for you, and maybe one person in each that you're looking forward to seeing that might be outside the favouritism?
I'm so boring, but I'm going to have to go with Novak and Serena just because of what they've done. As the outsiders to look at, I'm looking at Jack Sock and the men to have a big week. And for the women, I'm looking for my old charge Sloane Stephens, because she played so well to start the year. But, more importantly, I'm just wondering, because I came up here, did you get my application for a wild card? Fitzy and I applied for a doubles wild card. Did you? You guys, is that still in consideration or not, Craig?
We got it, and it was rejected before it landed.
Oh, well, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Bruce.
Paul, no, you've done a great job. I
Thanks.
reckon if you hadn't said Jack Sock, but you'd said Nick Kyrgios, you would have got the wild card.
Yeah,
I knew I messed up. I should have had Fitzy come up here and do this. That was my problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Annacone, thank him very much.
Thanks, Bruce.
Great
Thanks,
job,
guys.
Paul. That's it, Craig. I know we say it every year, but it looks incredibly exciting.
This is a great draw. If everyone recall, last year we had 2 draws that were very different in their level, in their strengths, and their rankings, and much more parity here, in both in the men and the women, and even side and even half. And we're going to go and sit down now and work out. We've got Auckland to manage, and we've got Sydney, Hobart, and making some decisions on when players are arriving, the weather, and hopefully pretty soon be able to make which half we're going to play, and then start looking at the actual schedule tomorrow.
So, finally, I mean, a hard question, but do you have any idea of what time we might know the lineup for Monday night?
He's the referee.
We'll look at some halves, as Craig said. We'll see what happens in Sydney and Auckland and Hobart. Yeah. See which players are involved, where they're situated in the draws.
Requests.
And we'll go from there. We'll try and get some halves out, hopefully tonight, if we're lucky.
With the weather.
Yep. Yes, definitely with the
And
weather.
sometime tomorrow. Is that possible?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it's an interesting question, because we like to try and get it out Saturday night. But if we're going to have 24 hours or 48 hours predicted of bad weather in those events, we don't want to disadvantage a player that's in the semis or the finals, and they've got to turn around and just barely make it for the first round on Monday. So that's really the primary factor in making the decision. We're not delaying it for any other purpose other than the events that are currently being played around the world, that they get a chance to finish.
Absolutely. Members of the media, thank you. I know you're very busy. Non-members of the media, thank you. You're probably not so busy, but it's been a lot of fun. To Serena, Novak, to our ball kids, Paul, Wayne, Craig, Ian,
thank you.
Swan Hill, Warrnambool. See you later. See you next year. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Bruce.
forehand, and the Italian wouldn't have got any of it. Just missed. A lot of Twitter traffic about the draw on the hashtag #AusOpen. So if you're interested in having a look at that, or if you'd like to pick the great brain of Matthew Hill, hashtag #AusOpen.
Hashtag pick Matt's brain.
Game. Schiavone, new balls, please.
So Schiavone is hanging in for dear life. She leads 5-4 after 43 minutes in the second set, John.
You mentioned the result from court 7 before. Go Soweto, the number 8 men's seed, took the first set 6-3. Games on serve in the second at 3-2. And we do have a result in court 6, the first set. Wang Qiang getting the job done 6-4 over Yang. And on court 8, Wang did consolidate the double break and now leads 5-1 and is serving for the match over Lim.
Court 5 as well, the 11th seed. I love saying his name, that's why I'm mentioning it. Edouard Roger Vasselard is going around.
Just looking on screen, the man that was sitting on screen there adjusting the young sleeve of his young son is Josh Cabe, who's key statistician. And he's actually just sent out a tweet to say the last time Leighton Hewitt played an Australian in the first round of the Australian Open, he was world number 1. He took on Todd Larkham way back 10 years ago.
Probably more.
So I'll have a look at what Josh did say there, but that was him sitting there. 2003, second round.
Against Wang Yifan, but meanwhile, let's get back to show court 3 and a chance for Schiavone if she can break here.
Lovely.
Here's a chance.
2 points away. Couldn't get it done in the 4th game of this set, but might be able to get it done in the 10th game. Issues for the Frenchwoman with the racket. Change up is there. Always marvel at the timing sometimes, Matthew, of when these changes take place.
A little bit of sportsmanship in it.
Well, at the moment, Love 30 down, couple of points away from conceding the second set, so just maybe a little bit of time to consolidate, regroup.
But if you can get away with it, why not?
Just allowed herself a little breather. Oops. Hasn't delivered yet, though, starting with a fault. Zano.
Oh, it's a dreadful time. It might have been a good time for a bit of a change of grip, but it wasn't a good time for a double fault.
No.
In fact, the worst time possible.
I'd actually take that racket back and put it blank in the plastic and get the other one out.
5 double faults apiece, boys.
Zano saves 1 set point. She's still looking down the barrel of a couple more that the Italian has in the back pocket.
30-40.
Again, finding the right angle to put the pressure on Schiavone. And this has been a good answer. 2 break points saved, but still a set point for the Italian. It's been a great scrap this second set. It's been good stuff.
Appeared to be all one-way traffic in the first. This has been a tussle.
Well, she had her on the ropes after a swinging serve down the tee, but Schiavone has fought back, and full credit to her. 25 minutes ago, she looked down and out, and she has picked herself literally off the canvas to take the second set, and it's all square, and it's difficult to pick the winner here. In this second set, it was gripping stuff, but just started to find some winners, Schiavone. But still playing her shots was the French woman, and in the end it came down to the wire.
Well, she won the first 3 games and was chasing everything early in this second set. Then the French woman hit back, levelling up the scorecard. And then Schiavone eventually was able to assert herself, but only just. There was a whisker in it, could have gone either way. See some big hitting from Rosano. She really chased her shots. She didn't appear to change her game at all. It was hitting the lines more often than not, especially in the mid part of that second set. Good work at the net, though, from the Italian. Here's another one. She won a few points there, mid-court or towards the net.
Okay.
So to sit down for the 2 women on show court number 3.
Let's have a look at the set 2 summary, and Rosano's first serve percentage was a lot better than Schiavone's. Gee, she really had to pull herself out of the mire there, didn't she, the Italian, with a first serve percentage like that. The winners were pretty level, you'd expect that. The unforced error count, a lot different to the first set, remembering it was 14-7. Schiavone with 14 against Rosano's 7 in the first set, so flip those around. And total points won pretty level, as you would expect. But Schiavone hitting them a lot better. We're going to take a break. We've got an intriguing third set coming up.
With the following players, please report to practice.
So this is court 6, and Kuang from China, the first seed, doing it well enough in the first set, 6-4, and leads here 2-love and serving far side of the court. This is the court that Marinko Matosevic will be playing on next.
Love 15. Some big hitting from both of these ladies. And if you are in China and watching the coverage throughout a number of different avenues, it might be on YouTube or on the Australian Open website, send us a tweet. Tell us who you favour here, or maybe if you've got a new Chinese hero, you can hashtag it at OzOpen, the hashtag.
Love this. Wu Di from China comes up next on our show court against Thomas Fabiano of Italy. And also Duan Yingying from China comes up against Irina Rodionova in our 4th match on show court 3. John.
Boys, we do have a couple of results that we can bring you as well. Wang Yafan victorious against Aliza Lim on court 8. And in the men's over on court 13, it was Gawodchik of Germany victorious over Tiafo of the USA in straight sets.
Too long, just overcooking it down the line there. The Americans have had a bit of a purple patch though, John. They have played some very good tennis here at the qualifiers, so that might be one of their first losses and a rare loss. been plenty of them that are featuring, and we'll attempt to go deep here and grab one of those qualifying positions. And Wu Di, who is next up on court, I would think would have to be in the running for shortest name. Not sure who it will be longest names, maybe Edward Rajavasalan or Geordie Sampamontana, who are both up on court 5. But Wu Di, just with the 2 letters in each name, I think he will take it. There was the famous saying that had a string of 2-letter words. If it is to be, it is up to me.
The most powerful words in the world, I was told.
If it is to be, it is up to me. I can see people at home and at work counting it out on the fingers.
Yeah, that's very true, though. It's very philosophical at this time of the afternoon from you, Koza, as well.
It is. Trying to get my Zen moments every now and again.
So Yang is able to fight back there, and it's 2-1 in favour of Wang there on court 6. So Andy Murray.
Have a look at him. Now he's
looking primed, isn't he?
Got an opportunity. Might meet Sam Groth even in the second round, but Murray will take on Alexander Zverev of Germany. And you can see here he's put through his paces as part of a sponsorship with Under Armour. And that Under Armour top, I understand, is actually a heat-resistant arrangement that does actually offer a way to get the sweat and the heat out of the body.
Interesting. And if things pan out the way they could, Bernard Tomic might face Andy Murray in the 4th round. Because Murray's up against Zverev in the 1st, and then it could be Groth, as you mentioned, Koza. Joao Sousa from Portugal, the 32 seed, it would be next if he was able to slide through as well to the 3rd round. So that's mouth-watering. Tomic and Murray, although we're a little bit concerned about Tomic at the moment after that news that he's pulled out of Sydney mid-match.
So there's Andy Murray, just on the rooftop courts here around Melbourne. Back to show court 3, we'll head there. And this is the 3rd set. So the first one going, and quite easily, the way of the Frenchwoman Rosano. If you're just joining us, she's in the bottom of the screen. Schiavone, the Italian, in the magenta colours at the top, and she is serving.
So we have the 35-year-old up against the 32-year-old here. Both, it's fair to say, in the twilight of their professional careers. Looking for another chance at the main draw, Rosano, after 4 times being in the 3rd round in the main draw.
15.
It is a curious set of circumstances where some of these men and women that have plied their trade across tennis courts around the globe for 10 or 15 years, and then they make their way through qualifiers, and eventually, obviously, that qualification doesn't happen anymore. But you can't imagine Novak or Serena or Roger necessarily in their twilight years potentially coming through qualifiers. Be the biggest crowd we've seen for a while.
Let's for serve.
I think when you're that big, you can be spoken about just by your first name. You won't be worrying about qualifiers.
Rosano going for the lot there on that return into the tram lines. It went. And earlier on, Francesca just trying to get those contact lenses in.
Having worn contacts for much of my life, that is not an easy thing to do on a windy, dusty tennis court.
A little bit breezy this afternoon as well.
30.
And if they're at all niggling or offering her any distress, that would be pretty tough to deal with. Nice shot by the camera boys, just keeping things ticking along even in the sit-downs.
I'm digging your glasses though, Koza. Makes you look distinguished.
Thank you very much.
Or is that in brackets older?
Yes. Well, I did wear contacts. I then had the laser surgery, which was one of the best things I've ever done. Fantastic. So these glasses now are just simply because age catches up with everyone.
You did have to offer them to me the other day. I forgot mine.
Games given.
Another distinguished man, John Hoovenaz, looking after the scores from the outer courts as it is 1-love in the third set for Schiavone, who has really lifted in the last half an hour or so after a foot fault really set her off. And it's almost put her into the zone. So he's really lifted and leads 1-love.
Well, on
after quite a slog that first game in the third set.
Over on court 7, we look headed for a third set decider because Kudryavtsev is up a break and serving for the second set against the 8th seed Go Soeda, 6-3, 3-5. Over on court 6, we have early stages of this second set. Games on serve between Wang and Yang. But it's Wang, the #1 seed, who holds a 1-set-to-love lead. And over on court 5, your man, Edouard Roger-Vasselon, the 11th seed. Games on serve against Sampa Montana at 2-1.
Now, Virginia Rosano's just checking the wind here. The flight of the ball previously really just had her at 6s and 7s, and she didn't end up hitting it. So she waited.
Great shot. And more than happy to go blow for blow, toe-to-toe with the Italian.
Yeah, she just clubbed that one cross court. There was another 20% extra on that. She made sure, she was determined, and she is happy to mix it up, isn't she? But neither player particularly approaching the net.
12 was the longest rally in the first set. We've got up to 21.
Blustery conditions, the birds, Rosano just getting a little flustered by a few different...
That bird was very cheeky that time, got nice and close.
Climatic conditions and local flora and fauna.
But again, just going for her shots, and if she's missing them, they're not by a great deal. One question I have for you boys, Hewitt Duckworth, Tomic Isterman, are we expecting Rod Laver for those two matches, or perhaps Margaret Court?
Given that the Hewitt Duckworth would no doubt be interest to the local market, but potentially not internationally, that might be a Margaret Court, John, appearance, you think?
Potentially.
It will depend on what else is scheduled around that time.
30-15.
One thing's for certain, though, it'll be one of the bigger crowds James Duckworth's played in front of.
Craig Tiley quoted as saying, it's a dream first round for the event, that Hewitt and Duckworth matchup.
Wonder whether James Duckworth's thinking exactly the same or not. What an opportunity, though.
He was handed the spot in the main draw on a silver platter after Ben Mitchell pulled the pin from the wildcard playoff final.
40-15.
Attend the birth of his first child. So James Duckworth said, thank you very much, I will have that. And has got his way through, but it'll be a big crowd one way or another. Nadal Verdasco will be amazing. again, the ball toss. The position of the sun now might be troubling the Frenchwoman.
Yeah, it was bothering her a little bit early on in the first set.
Time violation warning, Miss Rosano.
Well, that's a bit harsh. Time violation. John Blom saying, I can't give you 4 ball tosses. Given the fact that the sun did just peek behind the clouds at that time, it was quite a harsh call. You don't see a time violation given in those circumstances very often at all.
Sometimes those things are a build-up,
40-30.
and maybe he thinks end of the second set, she goes and changes the racket, then she's a bit slower off the chair, and sometimes those things build up, and eventually the central chair might actually say, I'm onto you, and this is why. So in isolation it may appear harsh,
Sure.
but given the fact that we've seen a few different, we call it sportsmanship or time delaying tactics.
The voice of reason now, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, maybe it's not just that one in isolation. Maybe John Blom. I have my eye on you.
I thought it was the voice of Margaret Corderina.
Many voices. Many of them in my head.
Okay, Rosano. 1 game.
Well, despite that time violation, she's held serve. It didn't rock her, and it's 1-1, and this is just a real slog to the finish line now. We've been going 1 hour and 34 minutes, and there's a little bit when Leighton Hewitt gets onto court, you know you're going to be here for a while, and it's the same with Francesca Schiavone.
Quick score check from court 6. Wang and Yang. It's Wang up 1 set to love. Games on serve in the second at 3-2. More scores to come.